those of you that haven't seen it yet, this is my new one. I'm painting the vibration of Explore. Whee! It's a bigger one, obviously.
So tell me about the process. I'll interview.
Okay, thank you. The process of doing these frequency paintings is pretty interesting because it varies based on whether I'm being commissioned or not. It used to be in the beginning of my career when I had more time, I would actually take commissions for these paintings. So let's say that somebody wanted to have more joy in their life or something. They could commission me to do a painting of the frequency of joy. And what I'm painting here, these vibrations are pre-manifested reality. Things are energetic and then patterns before they are physical things. So an energetic pattern has to exist that then becomes a physical something. Even if that physical something is like a chemical or whatever it is in the body. So joy has a specific frequency and it doesn't change based on a person. And so they work a little bit like, they're more allopathic than homeopathic, but for the sake of this conversation, they're like homeopathic in nature, in that when you take them and put them in your living space or wear them, it forces an entrainment with your energy field and the energy field of the frequency painting. So they're actually medicinal in nature. And that's why my community loves / hates when I do them, because whatever frequency I do affects the entire community, obviously. And for some of them, it's more intense than others. Some of them are more pleasant than others. I've had a few that I've had to get out of the house within like 5 minutes of completing them because they're so intense. They take me, depending, hi Alexandra, they take me anywhere depending on how much time I can focus on them, because sometimes what I do is I go into meditation and I'll just paint one completely through. So sometimes they'll take me 24 hours just completely straight. Other times I'll do them over the course of like 3 to 4 days. And I've had a couple that are so big that they take me like a couple of weeks, but I don't like that. That method of creating them is not my favorite. My favorite is to just pour myself into it like a meditation where it's done when it's done, a little bit like a Buddhist sand painting. So the process of these getting done, depending on whether I get commissioned or not, if I don't get them commissioned, what happens is they sort of come through me. It's not like something that I decide, oh, I really want to paint this frequency. It'll be more like something just has to come through, and so I'll start doing it. And what comes out is, you know, one vibration or another vibration. Other times I'll have guides that want something done, and so I'll be taken out of body. That's not really willing out of body work. It's more like forced out of body work. I'll be taken out of body, exposed to a frequency, and then I have to come back and paint them. The process of actually painting them is the interesting part, because what will happen is that, like, if you keep your eyes open right now for a while and then you close them, you can see all these light patterns. And the same thing happens with frequencies, but it's like 100 times stronger. So if I have somebody who's standing in front of me and they're feeling the sensation of excitement, I'm able to see what the pattern of excitement looks like in the human energy field. And then when I close my eyes, the pattern is stuck there, right? But the same thing applies actually to a white canvas. So if I look at the frequency around somebody of excitement and then I look at a white canvas, I actually see the outlines of the geometric shapes. So what I can do is I can actually just like trace what I'm seeing on the white canvas and then fill it in. So that's the process of how these frequency paintings are made. And I use really interesting things inside the paint itself, by the way, depending on which frequency that I'm using. Like if I'm doing a calming grid, for example, I may use chamomile tea instead of water. I'm not going to lie, some of these paintings are infused with yoni blood. It makes them very, very intense. And here's another question. Do they look exactly like they do in real life? Like they look on your paintings? No. Okay, so Angie, this is a good question. My frustration actually is that they're moving and I can't capture them moving. And we've talked more than a few times of collaborating me with somebody who is like a graphic arts designer, so that we can actually simulate the same movement that you'll see in a frequency painting. So for example, even on this one, if you see this one in the air, like in reality, I don't know if you can see these concentric circles, like this one and this one and this one. They're like these circles that kind of radiate out. This is constantly changing. So in the frequency or in the vibration, this is like always changing color and it's moving out this way. With other ones, like a lot of the Arcturian grids, it's craziness because they'll fold in on themselves and then like pattern out this way. So what I'm doing is I'm actually capturing a moment in time. And it's both frustrating and really challenging to try to do that. Also, there are some colors, quite honestly, that exist in the energetic spectrum that you literally could never find a color of paint for. And it doesn't matter how many times I've tried to mix the colors, it's just not going to happen. So yeah, they don't look exactly the same in real life, but I'm trying to get them to be as similar as I possibly can. Oh yeah, so this is the thing. Have I ever painted low frequencies? I've actually thought about it several times. Like I've wanted to paint the vibration of war specifically just so that I could show people the difference between these higher vibrational frequencies and the lower vibrational frequencies. Symmetry is the thing that is lacking primarily within the more discordant frequencies and lower frequency states. And you could definitely see the difference visually. But then I have an issue with that, which is that when I'm painting it, it's forcing me and everyone around it to entrain with it. So the only reason I would be doing that is just to show the contrast. But it would be negatively influencing everybody, which is the opposite thing of what I want to do here. So I had a little bit of a hard time.
Everyone goes to war in the house.
Yeah, everyone, all of a sudden, like, it's like all hell breaks loose and the entire community breaks up. Yeah, so, but I might do it one day. I haven't really worked up the courage or the desire to do it yet. Okay, how long does it take for a frequency to have effect on a person? It is instantaneous. The fact that they have effect on a person is instantaneous. If you want to amplify it, what I suggest people doing is, I mean, wearing it will do the same thing, but sitting in front of one of these paintings in meditation is another good way to have it affect you. I noticed that a full entrainment usually takes 11 minutes for whatever reason. I don't have like a full-on explanation for you as to why that seems to be the period of time that it takes for somebody to fully entrain with the frequency. But you'll notice that for people that literally can't share the same space with this, they often have to leave the room. So like I'll have some people that get near it and they're just like, ugh, and then they back off. So that full 11 minutes never takes place. Alexandra asks, are some of these on your website for sale? All of them are on my website for sale, yes, because obviously I wanted this to get out to people so that they can engage with them. So if you go to tealsalon.com, I have this section called store. I should know my own website better than I do. I have a section called store, and then I've got an entire array of products around the frequency paintings, and we're going to be doing more. So I've got an entire clothing line. You'll see a lot of the people that are around me wearing the clothing line. So I've created all over prints. So they're incredibly bright pieces of art. It's fun to walk down the streets with them because people are like, what the hell is that? Of course, it's like when you wear it, you're affecting everyone around you too. So if I'm sitting on an airplane wearing a frequency of human self-awareness, I will notice that the people around start asking questions about themselves every time. So I really like to see the way that they affect people that way. We've got jewelry. We've got just the prints for sale as well in whatever size you want. So yes, they're available. Oh yeah, for people who are interested what medium I use, I'm using a mix actually of, I hate working with oil paints, I'm just going to be honest with you. Oil paints and pastels drive me absolutely crazy. But I'm using a mix of watercolor, obviously the other stuff that I told you I put in the paint sometimes, and acrylics. And I find that the mix of them actually makes for the greatest effects, because what I'm looking for is to create some sort of a perception of movement and texture, which is inherent in the vibrations themselves. Watercolor looks a lot more like energy does in the air, which is why I like using it so much. Do you have a painting for success? I have multiple paintings for success. I have lots that would actually go into that. So this is another fun little fact. For those of us that are obsessed with frequency paintings, then what we will do actually is that we'll get a room, or like even in our own bedroom, we'll decide what type of a subject we want. Let's say we want abundance or we want financial success. We'll get a bunch of paintings, like maybe 10 or 11, that are only about that, so that what we can do is be inundated in the vibration of whatever specific thing we want to be inundated with. So I highly suggest that. But it can get really intense, I'm going to warn you. Like I actually warned a guy once, he commissioned me for a painting, and what I was shown to paint him actually surprised me, because it's like a forced awakening type of a painting. And I told him, don't put this in the bedroom. Like you cannot put this in the bedroom. But of course, people aren't used to paintings affecting them so intensely. So he's like, whatever. So he actually put it up in the bedroom. And at 30-something years old, this guy peed the bed 2 nights in a row. And then he got at the point, like took it out of his bedroom. But there are some of the, I mean, these are very strong frequencies. So obviously inundating yourself with multiple frequencies can be a little bit more than intense. Okay, I would love to get a painting so I can keep it in the bedroom. Which one would you recommend? Let me think about that for a minute. I don't even know. I haven't really decided which one should be kept in which rooms. Have I? Maybe not. Oh, the out-of-body grids. Oh my god, you guys. Okay, any of the out-of-body grids that I did, or anything related to out-of-body work, is definitely something that you should use in the bedroom. That will make for some awesome time with dream time. Oh my god, what frequency is good to pass a test? You know, productivity, actually, and time wielder. My favorite one for people to use with work and with school is the time wielder frequency, because what it does is it bends the space-time continuum. So you can actually use it to manipulate time based on your intentions. So what you would normally do in like 2 hours can be done in 20 minutes. And obviously, if you're really focusing on a test, that can assist you immensely. Fun. If someone buys a painting and has it up, when do you know to take it down? Well, obviously, you know to take it down if you don't want to be working on that particular frequency. Sometimes also, if you've experienced this with crystals, a crystal will not want to be with you anymore, and it's just a feeling. It's like an intuition that that thing should pass from one person to another. Obviously, if you're a collector of these paintings, or this, to be honest with you, they're going to be worth a lot in the future, even past my death, then obviously getting rid of them wouldn't work. But I've had a few people where it's like, it doesn't matter whether they love the painting, they just know that it's supposed to be with somebody else. And that would be when to know to take it down. But other than that, you can keep it. I mean, there are some frequencies that really you'll vibe with permanently, and you're never going to have that type of a feeling. So they just go well in the house no matter what, because it's like an overall vibration. For example, you've got like, you know, a lot of the ones oriented around community or connection will stay up in a community and never have to be taken down. You won't ever feel the incentive to take them down. But you don't, I mean, so basically long story short, you don't have to take them down, but you can whenever you feel like you don't want to be having that influence around you.